Hi, I'm Raven from Raven and Chelsea, and today I'm coming to you with 5 tips to help your preschooler get ready for kindergarten. So I've been teaching kindergarten for 3 years, and these are 5 things that I think that are most helpful for kids starting kindergarten. I know a lot of parents are worried about whether or not their kids are ready for kindergarten because their preschool may have ended early because of the quarantine. So with these 5 tips, you'll be guaranteed to have your kid ready for kindergarten. So let's get into it. All right, the first way to help your preschooler get ready for kindergarten is with concepts of print. Concepts of print refers to the way print or text works on a page, and it's really easy to help your preschooler with this. All you need to do is read with them every day. If you can't manage every day, then try to do as much as you can. This is also a good way for an older sibling to help them. While you're reading to your preschooler, make sure you are pointing to each word with your finger. This is called tracking, and tracking is a big deal. It helps them know that for every word you touch, you need to say one more word. It also helps them know that you read from left to right and top to bottom. When you come to the end of the page, have your preschooler turn the page for you. That way they understand that at the end of a page, you need to turn the page to get to a new page. They also need to know the parts of a book. They should know that the front cover and the back cover protect the pages, the spine holds the paper together, and then they should also know what the author and illustrator, what their purpose is in the book. If your child has mastered all of these concepts of print, then you can work on some comprehension questions. Ask them, why do you think the characters did that? Or what do you think will happen next? Have them to start using the pictures to make predictions. The second way to help your preschooler get ready for kindergarten is through number sense. Number sense is just the ability to understand numbers and how they work. To help your child with number sense, have them rote count. That's just them being able to get in front of you and count. They should be able to count to 20, but if they can't, start small. Go from 1 to 3, then 1 to 5, 1 to 7, 1 to 10, 1 to 15, and then 1 to 20. They should be able to rote count fluently without making any mistakes, skipping numbers, or repeating any of the numbers. Once they can rote count successfully, have them count to 10 on their fingers. It may sound silly, but when they're counting, they need to understand that you raise one finger for each number that you say. And they should also know that they have 5 fingers on each hand and they have 10 fingers total. Once they understand how to count on their fingers, have them start counting objects out to you. This is really easy. While they're playing, tell them to give you 2 balls or 4 trucks or 5 circles, anything. Start small and then work your way up to 10. Once they master 10, go up to 20. This is called one-to-one counting, and it's a big deal in kindergarten. You can also have them count out snacks. So if you're about to give them goldfish, count out 15 goldfish to them and then have them count with you. After they're able to do that, start introducing them to writing their numbers. This way they can start to write and recognize numbers. They won't only be able to tell you that they have 1 truck. They'll be able to write the number 1 and then so on. They only need to be able to write and recognize the numbers up to 10. The third way to help your preschooler get ready for kindergarten is through phonological awareness. Phonological awareness refers to the ability to hear and manipulate sounds. These are activities that can be done in the dark. That's what we say a lot at school. So one way you can help your child with phonological awareness is when you're washing the dishes or bathing them, have them tell you the first sound in any given word. So while you're giving them a bath, have them tell you the first sound in the word tub. They should say t. If you're in the kitchen, have them tell you the first sound in the word pot. They should say p. It may take a while for them to be able to isolate the first sound in a given word, but once you work on it with them for a while, they'll be able to do it quickly and fluently. The second way you can help your child increase their phonological awareness is by playing rhyming games. You can give them a word and tell them to give you a word that rhymes with it. So if you say pot, they should be able to say dot and clot. It doesn't even matter if it's a made-up word like mott or sot. As long as they understand that the ending part of the rhyme is at, and that at is what makes the new words rhyme with pat, then it doesn't matter. A third way is by playing I Spy. I like to play this with my kindergartners while we're lining up or while we're transitioning to different activities. So I might say something like, I spy with my little eye a up. And so they'll have to say cup. You can do this while you're combing their hair or giving them a bath, because you can find a lot of inspiration around the house. The fourth thing that you can help your preschooler work on before they get ready to come to kindergarten is motor skills. One of the big things that we teach kindergartners is how to hold a pencil or color the correct way. A lot of kids, when they start kindergarten, they want to hold the pencil or color with their whole fist. Try to teach them to use 3 fingers or 4 fingers to have a correct grip. A good way to help them with their grip is just by correcting it while they're coloring. Another good thing that'll help them get ready for kindergarten is name writing practice. You can write their name a few times on a sheet of paper in a highlighter and then have them write over it. Or if you have access to a printer, it's easy to just Google name tracing worksheets, print your child's name out, and then stick it in a sheet protector and then have them trace their name with a dry erase marker. That way you can wipe it clean, and they can also do rainbow writing with different color dry erase markers. That's where they write their whole name in one color and then use other colors to write over it. This will help them be able to write and recognize their name, which is a big skill, and it'll help them with their grip because it'll give you lots of opportunities to help them practice. Another thing that relates to motor skills is how to use scissors correctly. If your child is left-handed, make sure they have a primary pair of left-handed scissors. They're easy to find in your local Walmart or Target. It's important for them to know how to do this because they need to know that they hold their scissors with one hand and hold the paper with the other hand. And that when they need to turn the page, they turn the page with the paper in it, but they keep their hand with the scissors in it still. To help them with this, you can draw different lines on a sheet of paper. You can draw horizontal lines, vertical lines, wavy lines, and zigzag lines, and then have them cut it out. They have to move the paper to cut the different lines. Once they master cutting the lines, you can move on to shapes. This will also give them practice with recognizing those shapes and then cutting them out. Once they master those shapes, after they cut them out, you can have them start to glue, because this is a big skill in kindergarten. Now, in my class, we only use glue sticks, but if you're feeling adventurous, you can have them use liquid glue. It's not something I recommend because it gets a little crazy. They need to know that whether it's a glue stick or if it's liquid glue, that you put glue around the perimeter of whatever you want to glue, and then you put a few drops in the middle. Those motor skills will really help your preschooler excel in kindergarten. The fifth and final tip to help your preschooler get ready for kindergarten is self-care. It may seem a little silly, but you'd be surprised at the number of kids starting kindergarten that need help with their self-care. The main thing for me is tying shoes. I hate tying shoes. They're always wet and gross, and you don't know why the shoestrings are wet and gross, but it's a safety hazard. And if they know how to tie their own shoestrings, then they'll be that much more independent. Tying shoestrings also helps with the kids' motor skills. So just get a bunch of pairs of shoes, untie them, and then show them how to do it. The second way is bathroom independence. Make sure your child can take care of all of their bathroom needs independently. That's from undoing their buttons and zippers, to fixing their belts if they have belt loops on their bottoms, to being able to wipe themselves, and to be able to wash their hands. Especially in this quarantine season, they need to be able to wash their hands for 20 seconds. Teach them a song or a rhyme that's 20 seconds long. If they have trouble with their buttons, an easy way to practice this, and it also helps with motor skills, is by getting a man or a woman's button-down shirt and then undo the buttons and have them button them up and then unbutton them. Give them some type of treat once they've buttoned the entire shirt correctly. This will help them with their motor skills, and it'll make sure that they're independent in the bathroom, which is a really big deal. The final thing is make sure they're able to feed themselves and open their condiment and utensil packages independently. Now, you might be wondering why I didn't mention letters letter sounds or anything like that. Well, letters and letter sounds are the major work of kindergarten. So if your child doesn't know them, then they won't be going into kindergarten delayed. They'll be fine because it's what we spend the majority of the school year working on. But if your child has mastered all of the other tips and you want to start working on that, great. I suggest you start working with lowercase letters and make sure they know the sounds that each of the letters makes. This way, if they know that M makes the M sound, A makes the A sound, and T makes the T sound, they'll be able to blend it together and read T. But it's really the last thing on that list, because if they don't have concepts of print and they don't know that words go from left to right, they won't be able to read. And then if they don't have that phonological and phonemic awareness that we covered earlier, then they won't be able to read either, because they won't be able to isolate those sounds. Now, a pro tip is sight words. If your child knows all of these things, then start working on sight words. You can Google a list of sight words that every kindergartner needs to know. I would also suggest that list, if it doesn't have it, then you add it. Color words, those primary color words. Now remember, sight words are words that you cannot sound out. They're words that have tricky phonics rules, or phonics rules that kindergartners just won't cover. So you have to know them by sight. That's why they're called sight words. So they should just be able to look at the word and within 5 seconds tell you what that word is. Start very small. Start with 3 words. Write each word on an index card and then flash them to your child for a few minutes a day. But flashing words is boring. They have YouTube videos with sight words on them, and you can also do some things that'll help them with motor skills and their kinetic memory. You can get some salt or sugar and put it on a cookie sheet and then have your child trace that sight word in the salt. The grittiness of the salt will help them remember how to recognize that word. You can also do the same thing with shaving cream. You can put a little on a table or a counter and have them trace that word with the shaving cream. Again, the coolness and that slight stickiness of the shaving cream will help their kinetic memory. You can also get Play-Doh if you're one of those parents that allows Play-Doh in the house, and then they can build the sight word with the Play-Doh. I suggest putting it on some parchment paper before you put it on your table, or a cookie sheet, or even like a dinner mat that you can get from Walmart for like $1. I suggest doing that because it'll help them know that they need to keep the Play-Doh in that area, and so that way they won't make as big of a mess. And it'll also help them with their motor skills because they'll have to pinch off little balls of Play-Doh, roll them up, and then roll them into a straight line to build those words. So I just gave you 5 tips to help your preschooler get ready for kindergarten and a few pro tips. In the comments below, tell me if any of these tips work for you. If your child is advanced and knows all of these things, ask me in the comments for additional ways to help them get ready for kindergarten. And if you like this content and want to see more from us, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Have a great day.